their opinions, and I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this
wait for it,
country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
Oh, you never heard of
Stop it.
Eminem, Donald?
Slim Shady is a winner.
Oh, I'm sorry, is he not as big as Ted Nugent or Kid Rock for you? What about Bruce Springsteen, the boss, who is hosting a Get Out the Vote concert in Philadelphia with former President Barack Obama on Monday, October 28th. Is that big enough for you? I got to show you this clip, by the way. This was in Detroit. This was Obama rapping to an Eminem song, Lose Yourself, when he took the stage. Watch this.
Okay.
I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem.
Stop it.
Now I notice my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already.
What is he doing?
Mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
okay, I'm listening, you have my attention.
Dun, 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 dun. I thought Eminem was going to be performing. I was going
What is he doing?
jump out.
During his speech, Obama spoke about how Vice President Harris was actually raised in the middle class and actually worked at McDonald's while Donald Trump just pretended to work at McDonald's with his stunt. Watch this.
Stop it. Get some help.
Somebody who was raised in the middle class. She worked at McDonald's when she was in college to pay her expenses. She did not pretend to work at McDonald's when it was closed.
That doesn't make sense.
This is somebody who believes in the values that built this country.
Stop it.
And she is as prepared as any nominee for president has ever been. That's who Kamala is.
And it was all these comments from Obama on the campaign trail that were driving Trump absolutely nuts. So this is a real thing that Donald Trump said yesterday in
Wait for it.
North Carolina. Like, I'm not even making this up. He said that Kim Jong-un thought Obama was a jerk, and so does he. Therefore, ha.
He's a fierce man. I got
Stop it.
along with him very well. Putin. These are people that are tough people. Kim Jong-un, North Korea, nuclear weapons all over the place. I said, you ever do anything else? Go to a game, do something. You know, he loves producing nuclear weapons. That's what he likes producing. And he's got a lot of them. And he has no respect for our leadership now. And he didn't respect Obama. He thought Obama was a real jerk. A real jerk. And I think he's a real jerk because I've watched him campaign over the last couple of days. I watched him campaign. What a divider he is, right? What a divider he is. He divided.
Stop it.
This country, he couldn't care less. Him and his little group of people, he was terrible.
He's just so insane. And the projection is just off the charts. A divider? Really? You're the guy who's calling Americans the enemy within and threatening
That doesn't make sense.
to sick the military on people who oppose you. Let's go back to Barack Obama, a little bit of a palate cleanse here. Here's Barack Obama mocking Donald Trump for his disastrous town hall the other day.
The other day,
Stop it.
he had a town hall meeting. Now, I've done my share of town hall meetings. My experience is the goal of the town hall meeting is you meet with your constituents, with citizens, with voters. You answer their questions. He decided no, I'm not going to answer questions anymore. Let's just play music for half an hour. So he's standing there and he's swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA. And you know, the governor from South Dakota, she's standing there with this weird look on her face, like she doesn't really know what's going on. She's like, it's like a hostage video.
Now let's contrast that with
have one for you too, and we need to have them very late.
That doesn't make sense.
And speaking of Wisconsin, one of the events that former President Barack Obama held yesterday with Tim Walz was in Madison, Wisconsin. And I just want you to take a look at this crowd, this
Stop it.
packed arena with thousands of people there. I mean, this is momentum, this is joy, this is actual energy, and we are not seeing this at Trump's events anymore. We are seeing quite the opposite. In fact, let me
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
also show you this. Here are the Pennsylvania early vote numbers. You're going to notice something here, that Democrats are absolutely crushing it. And Democrats aren't expected to be crushing it in this early vote game, but Democrats are up in ballots right now, and ballots submitted.
Wait for it.
By 348,198 ballots. And this was yesterday. So this gap, this firewall that Democrats are building is probably even much greater at the time that you are watching this right now. And as a reminder, this doesn't tell you
Here it comes.
who the votes are actually for. This is just telling you who is submitting ballots by party affiliation. So you could also surmise that some of those GOP ballots that are being submitted will also be for Vice President Kamala Harris, and that a lot of those independent
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
ballots that are being submitted will also be votes for Vice President Kamala Harris. And then I want to compare and contrast a couple of headlines for you. This is a report in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, which says the U.S. economy again leads the world. IMF says the International Monetary Fund upgrades U.S. growth outlook as strong investment boosts productivity. Let me read you a little bit from this. The IMF projects U.S. gross domestic product to expand 2.5% in the fourth quarter from a year earlier, half a percentage point higher than a July forecast, which itself was an upgrade from a January estimate. U.S. output rose 3.2% in 2023. That would be the fastest among the group of 7 major advanced economies. Global output is now projected to grow 3.3% this year, a smidgen above the prior estimate. Focusing just on wealthy nations, the U.S. is increasingly ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Advanced economies as a whole are expected to expand 1.9% this year after growing 1.7% last year. For 2025, the IMF projects the U.S. to grow 1.9% versus 1.7%.
Wait for it.
For all advanced economies and 3.1% for the global economy. So the U.S. economy, once again, is leading the world by far, thanks to the Biden-Harris administration.
What?
Now let's look at the headlines that Donald Trump is getting. This is on the front of the Drudge Report, which is a right-leaning website. Trump: Hitler did some good things. Blame the Jews if I lose. And this latest story comes from new audio from Donald Trump's own chief of staff, John Kelly, who used to be a Marine general, who revealed that Donald Trump would say that Hitler did some good things and that Donald Trump is a fascist. These are the headlines we are seeing about Donald Trump. We are also seeing headlines like this in The Atlantic. Trump, quote, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had. The Republican nominee's preoccupation with dictators and his disdain for the American military is deepening. And
Stop it.
this article explores how Donald Trump said to his staff that he wanted them to hire generals that would give him undying loyalty over the Constitution of the United States. So, America, you have a very clear choice. It's never been this clear, in fact, I don't think. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Don't let it slip. My name is Brett Meiselas with the Midas Touch Network. Thank you so much for watching. Contrast that with more utter projection from Donald Trump. Trump saying that Vice President Harris is unfit for office and that something's clearly wrong with her.
And something is clearly wrong with her. Something is wrong with her. Something's wrong with her. And Something's wrong with his vice president. He is off.
Do you think Trump just stands in front of a mirror and goes, like, what are the insults that people would say about me? And then he says them about other people? Because it sure sounds that way every time we hear him speak. Meanwhile, you want to speak about
hey, y'all, come look at this.
running mates and vice presidential picks. Here's J.D. Vance yesterday speaking, and his podium completely falls apart, and then he blames it on Vice President Kamala Harris. And this guy's the worst. Watch.
And ask yourself what you can do from now until then to make sure it doesn't happen.
What is he doing?
That if there's a... Kamala Harris put that sign up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, she did. She's already trying to steal the 2024 election right here in this beautiful facility.
And Vice President Harris yesterday did a few interviews, one of which was on NBC News. And I gotta say, some of these reporters just do such a terrible job. Like this reporter who asked Vice President Harris if she would pardon Donald Trump should she be elected president in the United States. I love the way that Vice President Harris answered this. Watch.
It is entirely possible that the federal court cases against the former president will continue on. He is, of course, facing those felony charges.
Okay.
Would you consider, if you win and he's convicted, a pardon for former President Trump?
I'm not going to get into those hypotheticals. I'm focused on the next 14 days.
But do you believe, is there any part of you that subscribes to the argument that has been made in the past that a
Very good question.
pardon could help bring America together, could help unify the country and move on?
Let me tell you what's going to help us move on. I get elected president of the United States.
And then they always try to frame everything through the lens of Trump. Fact. Trump said this about you. Trump is running these ads about you. How do you respond? I love the way that Vice President Harris answered this question about Trump's ads and how she took it and used it as an opportunity to say what she wanted to do for the American people. Watch.
Wait for it.
That Donald Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads to talk about two cases to distract from the fact that his policy and plan is also to take away the Affordable Care Act, which provides health care for tens of millions of people in our country. That his plan is to undo the $35 a month.
So that was a lie.
Cap on insulin that it impacts millions of seniors in our country. That his plan is to do away with the $2,000 cap on prescription medication, the annual cap. That his plan is to get rid of the Department of Education.
What?
Which would mean getting rid of Head Start. That his plan is to give tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations and on the backs of middle-class working people. So let's not get distracted.
Okay.
By the issues that, to your point from the introductory point you raised, people want to know that their president has a plan.
And frankly, while there are some exceptions to the rule, overall, the press right now is completely and utterly
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
failing us. There's all these stories right now that there's all this momentum for Trump and momentum for the Republican Party. It's simply not true. It's not true even the slightest bit. And so I want to bring up these polls only due to that reporting. Yesterday, these
That doesn't make sense.
two new polls came out, one from Reuters, which had Harris up 3, and one from Morning Consult that had Harris up 4. And the reason why I want to bring these up is because these polls have been unchanged now for like about 6 weeks. This race has been incredibly stable, and all this talk about momentum is just due to Donald Trump's own bluster, I guess, and these BS betting markets and this flood the zone strategy of adding all these fake polls to the averages. It simply doesn't exist, and we
So that was a lie.
see this every single election cycle. I want to show you these two headlines right now. Check this out. Here's one from Politico. Making sense of the GOP's October surge. The New York Times opinion. Why Republicans are surging. Do you notice anything? I'll give you 1 second. I'm not sure if you caught it, but these are articles that were written at the end of October 2022. Every election cycle, they try to bring back up this red wave narrative, narrative that has not materialized. There was no red wave in 2022, and they're trying to pull the same stunts again, so don't fall for it. I want to show you some actual hard data, though, that we're seeing. Texas is seeing record early voting numbers, and particularly...
What is he doing?
particularly in Democratic-leaning areas. Let me show you this line of voters in Wisconsin on the first day of early voting yesterday. Check this out. This is from Milwaukee. Watch.